So Boruto Chapter 71 was not a good look for Code. This dude got washed by Daemon. Now some might argue that this was not a good look for the chapter itself because Code lost to Daemon this badly, which isn't even the most important thing in my opinion. I think the fact that he lost is less important than how he lost, and I think that's what we need to go over to get like the dynamic between the two characters and where Daemon actually scales in the series. And we also got a hint to the time skip, and I think we might be moving into the time skip sooner rather than later. Now I do understand that it's kind of taboo to say time skip at this point in time, but I do believe that it's more plausible this time around based on what happened in this chapter and what Code said at the end of the chapter. So you know what, let's get into the chapter so we can actually get to that point. Now I normally would put up the snippet of the manga chapter that I'm talking about, or the manga panel that I'm talking about when I'm talking about it in the reviews or when I'm doing theory videos in general, but I'm not going to do it in this video because I'm actually on 2 copyright strikes right now, and the third one would remove the channel. I think I'm being targeted by like a fake Shueisha account. I did some research on it. It has been around for like a few months, and other creators that have voiced their opinions on it. Now I got some advice to just file a counter notification, which I have, so I'm waiting on like 10 to 14 days to get like a resolution from YouTube, and once those strikes are removed, then I can continue, you know, doing other things and maybe risk getting another strike, maybe. But right now I'm just gonna hold off on the panels. I'm just gonna tell you guys what I saw and basically what I understood from the chapter, and you guys can verify in the chapter itself. So the chapter basically picked up where we left off in the last chapter with Code attacking Amado. Now right as Code was about to kill Amado, Amado said Ada a word, it's about Kawaki, and then we saw an interesting panel from Ada. It said flick. Now it showed a panel of Ada looking, then it said flick in like a small box. Now this could be that Ada activated her ability, which would be weird because she kind of implied that she doesn't know how to control the ability, which is why she hates Amado. But in this instance, it's like she used the ability to control people to stop Code from moving. Now again, like her ability works in different ways as she explained in the prior chapter, as you have simpletons who are completely controlled or bewitched by her ability, and she can just tell them what to do. Then you have other characters where she can't legit just control them, she can just influence them to not damage her or hurt her personally. Because we also saw later on in this chapter that she couldn't just stop Code from moving, which is why I think it's more likely that she didn't stop Code with her ability in this moment here, because why wouldn't she do it later on in the chapter when she had the opportunity to do so? So it's kind of weird in my opinion. You could just say that Code decided to stop, and that might be a logical option, but I don't know why they put the flick thing on her face to show that she did something when Amado said Ada. So I don't know, weird, but yeah, that happened. Now Amado is trying to basically beg for his life for Ada to save him, so he says that Kawaki is an ace up his sleeve in case Kona ever tries to abandon him like now, or if they try to kill him. Now Code, knowing that Amado is just trying to beg for his life and trying to stall for time and he wants to kill Amado, says to Ada that she should ignore him and he's bluffing out of desperation. And Ada told Code to basically shut up, I'm talking here. Yo, she's just disrespecting this dude the entire chapter, bro. It's ridiculous, and Code is just taking it because he's kinda in love with her, which is what we're gonna get into later on in the chapter itself. Now Code is not listening to Ada, which I think was a big mistake on his part, because she's telling him, yo, I'm trying to talk to Amado, let me talk to him and then you can do whatever you want to do or say whatever you want to say. But Code is just obnoxious. He's not listening to her. Oh, I want to do this, you're not gonna stop me. I already spared Kawaki, I'm not gonna spare Amado as well. You can't force me to do so, you can't ask me to do so. And then he tries to attack Amado once again, and the big dog Daemon jumps in and just grabs this dude's hand, no difficulty. Like this dude was trying to strike Amado and Daemon just grabbed him with one hand and then put his other hand over his mouth, like easily, just no diffed him at that point. And then like Code tried to attack Daemon, which I think this is where Code is kind of stupid, because Code knows that his intent would be reflected upon him. He knows Daemon's ability, he used Daemon's ability against Kawaki. So is it that he thought the ability wouldn't work against him? Why? It just doesn't make sense. Now a lot of people thought that taijutsu attacks wouldn't work on Daemon. They thought that it had to be like ki blast attacks or like using an external weapon or so of some sort. They thought that, yo, if let's say Code attacked him with his hands, then it wouldn't work. And they used the part where Code grabbed him and pulled him through the portal to save him from Kawaki as an example. And I always told people, like, Daemon was asleep at that point. Now you could argue that his ability doesn't work when he's turned off, as do normal human, some of their functions stop functioning when you're sleeping. some of them. So I think like it's more logical to assume that when he's asleep, the ability just doesn't work, and when he's awake, it does. Now Code then tried to attack Daemon, and his claw marks reflected upon him on his forehead, and you can see the actual slash marks on his forehead. Then Code disappeared using one of his claw marks and appeared on the roof, and then tried to talk to Ada. And Ada is telling him, yo, did you try to kill my brother? And Code is saying, no, he attacked me first, or you landed the first blow. But technically they didn't attack you, they just stopped you from killing Amado, then you attacked them. So there's a big difference with stopping you from killing someone and actually attacking you, which they didn't. So Code is just basically trying to like gaslight Ada at this point. Then he then goes again and tries to attack Amado, because Amado is saying, yo, Ada needs to get rid of you, you're a hindrance to Ada. And he's trying to gaslight Code and just kind of gassing up Ada to get rid of him, because Amado is playing the game here, he sees what's going on. They're basically having like an internal civil war at that point, and Amado is trying to capitalize on that. And he basically says, yo, you guys need to get rid of him, like he's holding you guys back, because Amado wants to bring them back to the village, which we're gonna get into later on in the chapter. So he's just telling them, yo, you need to get rid of Code. And then Code tries to attack Amado again like an idiot, and Daemon just completely no-diffs him. Now, what I find interesting about this point in the chapter is that Daemon wasn't anywhere near Code at that point, because Code teleported over to the other side of the room on the roof. And then when Code tried to charge at Amado that was right across from him, Daemon just instantly appeared in front of Code. Now, we had this debate in the Discord when we saw the spoilers, and we're like, does Daemon have a teleportation ability? Because the way he's moving doesn't just seem to be speed, it just seems like he's using actual teleportation. And another point in the chapter kinda somewhat proves it in some sense. I wouldn't say it's concrete at this point, but I think there's a lot of credence to him having like a teleportation ability. But yeah, Daemon teleports in front of Code, or speed blitz him to the point where he appears in front of him from the other side of the room, and then just kicks him away easily. Then he just basically shit talks Code and tells him that he needs to be disposed of because he's an idiot. Then we have like switch over to Naruto and Sasuke briefly, where Shikamaru explains to them what happened with Ada and her ability, and he also mentions to them that a dude was pulled out of Code's claw marks and he countered Kawaki's abilities. Then he says that there's a possibility that there are 2 Jigen level cyborgs on Code's team. And then we switch back over to the fight, and we have like Ada basically breaking up with Code when they weren't together in the first place. So she's like telling Code that, yo, I'm grateful to you, Code, I am, for freeing me. So she's telling him thanks for removing her from the pod. That's why I helped you regain your power. So it kind of implies that she didn't really need his power. She was just like being thankful for him freeing her. So she just allowed him to like get his limiters removed so he can do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't affect her. Then she says that, but let's call it a day, it's time to end this. And Code gets all sad, he's like, you're kidding me, right? Telling her that he loves her and all that jazz. Now we have to remember that he's affected by her ability, which kind of steals his heart, which is a weird thing to say. But yeah, it kind of like, you know, bewitches him to actually have feelings for her. So he doesn't know if he actually likes her or not, but he kind of feels like he does. But then he says something later on in the chapter that proves that he's going to find out if that's the case in some way. And we're going to get to that later on. Then he asks Ada, don't you still need my power? And Ada says, no thanks. I don't care for your self-serving attitude. Whether your feelings are real or not, I've had enough. So she's like telling him, yo, I don't care if your feelings are real or not, which is kind of weird. Now you have to be really bad for Ada to say, yo, I don't care if your feelings are real or not, because their entire like character thing is like, yo, she wants to find real love, somebody that likes her, not because of her ability. Then she's gonna say, yo, I don't care if it's real or not, I don't need you around me, I've had enough. You must have done something wrong, bro. I'm just saying, because like she's just dismissing him completely. She doesn't want him around. She basically kicking him out of the gang and shit. So yeah. Then Daemon says that, don't worry bro, I'll protect sis, it's fine. And then Code says, I see, Ada doesn't need 2 knights, does she? Now the knights thing is referring back to the actual chapter titled Knights, I believe, when Daemon was introduced and Ada called him her knight. Now I think that's what Code is referring to. And then Code basically challenged Daemon to a 1-on-1 fight. He says, that's right, just one, me. Which Daemon took offense to because he's the knight, he's her brother, which is weird, right? Because this dude is her actual brother and he's protecting her, and you are like a new dude they found out about like 6 months ago, max, and you're like, yo, let me let me replace your younger brother. It's not like, yo, it's her older brother, yo, she can say, oh, let me move away from him and just move on. This is her little brother, and you're like, okay, let me replace him. Like, that's just, I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. I think that's why Amado said he wasn't smart. He's kind of stupid, to be honest. And then Code said, sorry Daemon, but let's clear up once and for all who the real hindrance here is. Now, I don't know how Daemon is an hindrance to Ada. Maybe because he's kind of like clingy, probably. I think you could argue that, so I guess you could argue. Then Bug shouted out something interesting. He says that it's only when he's touching others with his hands that actions get reflected. Referring to Daemon, of course. Now I find this weird because this wasn't the case prior, because yes, there are multiple instances where he reflected abilities and he was touching someone physically, but there are also multiple instances where he did reflect things and he wasn't touching anyone. Now if you go back to when he fought the guards and he landed the guard on the ground and he was walking towards the other guard, he wasn't touching anyone, and yet the guard's ability was reflected. And then you have when Code pulled him out of the claw mark to reflect Kawaki's ability, he wasn't really touching Code with his palms. His hands weren't on Code directly. And you wouldn't say, yo, why would he hold on to reflect if he didn't even know what was going on? He just woke up. Now I think that one is more harder to prove, but the more clear case is when he was fighting the guards and he was literally just walking, wasn't touching anybody at the time, and the ability was still reflected. Now I said this in the Discord that what they'll probably do is say that, yo, he was always touching someone. Then they'll like go back in the past and show him like touching something, and it was like so fast that we didn't see it. Like they do this shit all the time, so it's not anything new, to be honest. So guess what? If they say that's how it works, fine. I don't really care either way, because he's still badass. Then we have Code charging Daemon, and Daemon wasn't even looking at him, to be honest. And then this dude just instantly appeared behind Code and said, you said earlier that you felt like you couldn't lose to anyone or something like that. That was hilarious. Like, this dude is completely just like shitting on Code, bro. And this again proves that it's possible that he has some kind of teleportation ability, because he was like 1 second he was on the ground, then the next second he was above Code. Now you could attribute that to just pure speed, but later on in the chapter I think that's kind of disproved, because when he used pure speed he wasn't able to catch Code. So I don't know, let's see what happens here. Daemon then slammed Code into the ground and shattered the entire ground. Like, if you guys want to get like a visual representation, just recall when Ishiki stepped in Naruto's gut and smashed the entire ground. That's basically what he did. And he just jumped in his back and Code is like coughing up blood. Then Code teleported or disappeared using his like claw marks to the top of the ceiling and tried to attack Daemon again. And Daemon just instantly like turned around and gave him like one left leg to the face and kicked him into a wall easily. Like, again, like, he's teleportation fast, but he's also physically fast, because like this dude was able to like turn around easily and just slap him into the wall. So I don't know, like, this dude is stupidly fast. This proves that Daemon doesn't need reflection to fight. I think a lot of people theorize that, yo, it's just his reflection ability. He's probably weak in taijutsu, but this dude scales above no limiter Code in taijutsu all around, strength, speed, everything. So I don't know, bro, this dude is actually number one, which he says that have enough yet. You seem stronger than Jigen, so neither Hokage nor Uchiha should be trouble. Now I found this dialogue very weird. I don't know why Daemon would just randomly include the Uchiha and the Hokage. I think this is more of the writers saying something to us for us to understand where Code scales. I don't think like someone would talk like that naturally, you know? It's just weird to like drop them in for no reason. But then he says that, but that's all. Who's second or third doesn't matter to me. I'm number one. So yeah, dropping bars, bro, dropping bars. We already spoke about this. It's a great line. Then Code basically ran away, says that he's going to cultivate the divine tree and he's gonna become an Otsutsuki by consuming some Otsutsuki. I don't know who he's gonna feed to the god tree. And then he's gonna like become a Otsutsuki so that Ada's ability wouldn't work on him. Then he'll decide if he loves her or if he wants to kill her. I don't know how he's gonna kill her even then, but yeah, maybe the chocolate fruit will boost his power above Daemon's. Who knows? Maybe. Then Amado basically said that, yo, he wants to explain everything about Karma and Kawaki, but he wants to do it back in the village. Basically says that Kawaki has regained Karma and simultaneously inherited Ishiki's abilities, and a important thing he said here is that his power is likely to keep growing. So a lot of people theorize that, yo, Kawaki is capped at like 85%, and it's not progressing any further, but this is contradicted by Amado saying that his power is growing, so Kawaki is getting stronger gradually. So the Kawaki we saw fight Boroshiki won't be the same Kawaki we see the next time he uses that power. He will be drastically stronger. And then Amado basically said that he also has a shutdown code and on Kawaki, and that's why he's able to control Kawaki, and he's the only one able to control him. The Hokage might not be able to test his power. So yeah, Amado basically has everything in the bag at this point. Now another key thing here is that Ada asked him why didn't he give Kawaki a stop function initially, and then Amado said that he didn't because Jigen forbade it. He said that putting such a function on his precious vessel was unacceptable. Now I guess they're trying to explain why like Amado didn't put it on some of these cyborgs. Now then you could then say that you could apply that logic to Code as well, which is why he didn't. But again, like Code wasn't his vessel, he just had karma. So you could argue that Amado did put something on him, maybe, since he had like a limiters, but then when Amado was about to die, he didn't use it. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. But yeah, it's basically confirmed that Kawaki didn't have a limiter before, as in like anything that could shut him off, but he now has one. I think he gave him it when he gave him the new hand. So yeah, he gave him a karma and something to shut him off, so he's basically in control. Then Daemon says that it doesn't matter whether or not Amado can shut him off or not, he's stronger than Kawaki and he'd beat the heck out of him without breaking a sweat, which Amado then confirmed to be true. So this kills Daemon way above Kawaki, if he's able to like beat him without a sweat, bro. It's ridiculous at this point. But yeah, if you argue that no limiter Code is above Kawaki and Daemon is above no limiter Code to this drastic degree, he's obviously way above Kawaki, so yeah. Then Amado says that the shutdown function is just an insurance to protect his standing in the village. His main objective has to do with Kawaki's karma, and it's necessary to achieve his plan with it. But he says that he's going to explain the plan to Ada when he gets to Konoha. Then he bargains to have Ada go referring to Shikamaru's plan, which he thinks is a good idea. Then we skip to Code basically ranting about Kawaki, saying that it's all Kawaki's fault. Kawaki took his vessel, whatever he wanted to be, took his girl in Ada because Ada likes Kawaki. Then he pledges to like wreck everything Kawaki loves, his friends, his Hokage, and Konoha. Now this is where I said that they kind of like, you know, gave us like a preview to the time skip, because we know in the time skip Konoha is basically destroyed, and people argue that it was Kawaki, maybe it was Boruto even, but this kind of proves that it might be Code. Code might be the one who destroys Konoha, but I guess it remains to be seen. I think based on how this chapter ended, this could even be what leads into the time skip. To be honest, I think it could be. Now you could argue that they might want to put like 2 or 3 months in between Boruto Part 1 and the time skip. Now if Boruto comes back in August and we get the time skip, that would be awesome, to be honest. But I don't think that will be the case. But based on how this chapter ended, this could have closed out Boruto Part 1, in my honest opinion. Code is gone, he's gonna look for chakra fruits, he's gonna try to become an Otsutsuki. Ada is going back to the village. Like this seems like an ending to the arc. Like this seems like where they can cap it off, then move into the time skip, in my honest opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you guys like the chapter? Do you guys like the points I made? Do you guys think time skip is coming in August? I know it's kind of ridiculous to say at this point. I'll probably go live after this when I post a video to like discuss it live with you guys. You guys can hop in and we can, you know, talk about it. But overall I think it was a good chapter. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Drop a like if you like the video, and above all else, you guys stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.